So today we're playing some Big Ambitions for the first part of the stream. We're going to be popping into our save. This is our company, Shop Here or Else. For those who don't know, you can actually customize the art in Big Ambitions, and I haven't done it with all my companies because I forgot to do it between streams, but you can go to each and every company and change their banners and billboards and all that. We have finished the entire story tutorial that's in the game so far, because this is early access, but we've got all that done. And so our current mission objective is... Let me go ahead and get some music so we're not sitting here in silence. So our current mission objective is we have businesses kind of scattered everywhere. Let me go ahead and hide the random retail. So, like, I did buy, like, one of the movie theaters, so we actually have a theater and everything. We got a bunch of scattered businesses everywhere. But what our current target is here's the garment district. Our goal is the garment district here. It's got this person, Ingrid, who runs it. We want to personally be a thorn in Ingrid's side and slowly knock her down into irrelevancy, because she is one of the rivals. When you look at the list, you've got all your rivals here. Most of them are just generic, randomly generated characters that you can knock them out of business and they'll just be replaced by another one. But there are 4 voice-acted and everything rivals. So you got Hong, Theory, Ingrid, and Jessica. And our goal is right now, just because she's in the same neighborhood you start in, we're going to be trying to knock her out. To that extent, she had her 2 clothing businesses here. They're each pulling about $110,000, $120,000 a week. We've opened up a competitor to them, and we've been slowly chipping away at her profit margins there. And the way we've been doing that is we've got our many, many businesses, and I'm suddenly trying to remember which one of these businesses was the one competing. Was it apparel? I think it was apparel or else. That this is our brand new business we've opened in the area. And all we're doing is each day we're looking in here and going, do I have the cheapest prices in the neighborhood? And if the answer is anything but yes, I lower my price, forcing her to continue to cut down on her margins. Now, we do have a bunch of money. I'm at 1.3 million just sitting in the bank. And so we're at that stage in the game where we're going to be just continuously opening more and more businesses. So the next thing to look into is what is it going to take for me to target another one of her businesses. So we look at her highest earners. So she's got the electronics store, the jewelry store. She's got bookstores. And then honestly past that, it's kind of pretty crap the amount of money she's making. And that said, we could target some of these lower ones. But the bigger issue I have with competing, which is why I had the map set up the way it is, if we look in this neighborhood and we go, okay, well, what retail spots are available? There are a bunch, but broadly speaking, they're all... Ooh, actually, that's a good one. Okay. Wait, was it that one or that one? Yeah, no. Okay, so that's actually a good one. I was going to say, broadly speaking, there's only the really small 807 meters cubed. But in this particular case, we actually do have a large location that's available here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, before anyone else could scoop that up, I'm going to immediately rent that building. Because that's going to be a big part of us competing with her, is managing to snag any buildings that are actually a decent size with decent traffic. So that way I can actually compete directly. Yeah, all the other ones are small. We could also check on warehouses, or the office spaces. Got a couple pretty big office spaces we could potentially put to use as well. Will competitors ever make first move and become your rival? So when you open up enough businesses, a competitor becomes your rival. Just mechanically, that's how it works. Once they become your rival, they will go and start pursuing you. So the cost of rent is basically nothing. So I'm going to go ahead, and there's a bunch of good office spaces right here, right on the main drag. So I am going to snag 3 of those office spaces. We're not going to do anything with them, but the amount of rent is, like, relatively cheap. So I'm kind of giving myself future options while also denying those options to others. Alright. Otherwise, it's going to be all the retail spaces, and then there are no theaters here, and there are no cinemas up here. So we're fighting over retail spaces. So I did snag a retail space, which I actually was not anticipating. So let's go to our rival again and see what we think we can compete with her on. So we've got clothing set up. Ideally, I think we'd want to go for either the bookstore, the jewelry store, or the electronics store. The electronics store would certainly be the one that makes us the most money. It is also a colossal pain in the butt to set up an electronics store because of just how much is involved in doing so. But I do think that's the route I want to go. So the first thing we're going to need to do to open an electronics store is I'm going to not have to worry about the space there. I need a big warehouse. And you will do nicely. So we'll snag that warehouse, start a business, factory. Ram or else. Alright. So the intention here is with an electronics store, there's going to be a ton of different merchandise we're going to be dealing with. Now, oh yeah, and where I mentioned the custom billboards, here's your first custom billboard. Shop here or else. We've got them all over town. And those are actually, we put art assets for your different businesses. If you ever look at your save file in this game, each business is a separate subfolder that has just 3 images in it, which are for this billboard, the little signs that are like, get on my way, truck. The little signs like this one here, where it's got like that little house icon, it's that one. And then also the billboard signs there. You can customize those with your own thing. They're just a JPEG. You can just drop it in there. So a bunch of our businesses have that shop here or else stuff. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is the electronics store. If you look at it, there's all of these phones and all that stuff. That's going to be a bit of a problem. So we're going to start with the arty phone. We can make it using Dear God. Did I mention that these are complicated to make? You need electronics workstation. Alright. So we need a kiln and a laser cutting machine. So let's start with that. So I'm going to need to get stuff delivered to our brand new warehouse. Let's get to our factory thing. Because a lot of these I can't even buy. I have to manufacture. So ram or else. Ship it tomorrow morning. And it said I need a kiln, a laser cutting machine. Ooh, I need to double check to make sure it was a consumer's goods assembly machine. I'm pretty sure it is, but I wouldn't want to get that wrong because it's going to cost us like $500,000. Yeah, consumer goods assembly machine. And this is, again, like super duper endgame stuff that you're dealing with here. So if it seems like all this is super complicated, it's because we're basically as far in the game as it gets. Alright, so that whole setup is going to cost me about $500,000. And we're going to double it. Hey, Radaman, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had fun with your, you're playing Galactic Hotel, if I recall correctly. I hope you had fun with that. Yes, we're just, casually going to drop $1 million today to order in a bunch of stuff to start setting up our manufacturing plant. In the meantime, I am going to need factory workers and all this kind of stuff, so we're going to go to our headhunters and tell them that I am in need of factory workers and to start recruiting, and I want at least 20 candidates. In addition to that, I am going to need customer service people, and I don't want any complicated schedules because it's a pain in the butt to deal with. But again, thank you so much for that. Can we get a shout out from it? Do we also get a shout out for Sparks? I'm hoping we got a shout out for Sparks. If we didn't, I need to make sure we did. I did not. So let me work through the shout outs. I've been distracted with stuff going on. So let's first get the shout out for Sparks, because he raided just a minute ago. For those who don't know Sparks, again, plays a lot of simulation games, highly recommend. I already kind of gave the spiel on that, but definitely go check him out, drop that follow and all that stuff. After that, we have Radamant, who is another fantastic content creator, plays a lot of similar games to what we play on the channel, has done like Auction Not Included, RimWorld, has been doing some Galactic Hotel and all that kind of stuff as well. but a whole range of good stuff. Definitely check out Radamant as well. One of the things I tend to say about Radamant is does an incredibly good job of both involving the community so that when deciding on like what the priority is going to be, puts it up to a poll, lets the audience kind of decide, makes that happen. We'll put 10 here. Makes that happen and all that. But in addition to that, also does a really good job of like when you're playing a complicated game, can break down the ideas of the game to be more accessible and all that. So it's kind of like getting a tutorial plus, so you can learn the basics out of the game without having like the min-maxiness of the game spoiled to you or anything. So definitely go check Radamant as well. I'll get you a shout out once the cooldown's over. But welcome in. I am Rual Storge, do play a variety of games here on Twitch. Today we're playing some Big Ambitions, which I jokingly refer to as Serial Entrepreneur Tycoon, where basically the idea behind it... Oh, interesting. I wonder why you're telling me that I have people that take care of that. But, basically the idea behind it is you are plopped down in Manhattan as a fresh 18-year-old. You got a couple of $1,000 that your uncle goes and chucks your way, pays your first week of rent, and your goal is to just kind of take over as much of the city as you can. So if you look at all these different icons or businesses that we're opening, well, sorry, not all those. All those icons are businesses and all that we're opening. We are in the late game at this point. I've got my theater, I've got like a theater, a bunch of clothing stores, a bunch of hair salons, some lawyers' offices, and a whole bunch of stuff. But what we're doing right now is in this area highlighted in green. That's the garment district of Manhattan. And so we are trying to take on our rival. There's a bunch of them in the game, but we are trying to take on Ingrid right now. Because she happened to start in the same neighborhood that we start in, and therefore she is the enemy and must be defeated. But we are working on trying to take on her main business lines and make her the most money, which is the clothing store. We're already edging in on her terrain. And the next move is I want to go after her, electronics store. That's going to take some work. I also need to be careful because on Mondays is when we order all our stuff to resupply our stores. It's a very expensive day in the week for me. Alright, so I need to go to our brand new warehouse, which is Ram or Else. Because at 10 a.m. we're going to get some manufacturing equipment delivered so that we can start manufacturing electronic devices. We also did buy up all the good local office space with the intention of slowly going in there and competing with any of her office businesses, or if nothing else, just taking up the space so she can't have it. But there's only a couple really big spots in her territory, so those premium locations we kind of want to fight for. Alright, so at 10 a.m., so this is not a super large warehouse, but it's going to have to do. But ultimately, we're going to want to set up more than that. I'm probably also going to need an additional warehouse from that. Well, actually, with only one store you're going to be delivering to, for right now, I can get away with that. Eventually, if we expand to get more electronic stores, I will need more locations. But about 30 seconds, we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff delivered here that I ordered yesterday. I spent about $1 million, which won't come out of my wallet till the delivery happens here in 20 seconds. But the goal here is we want to get all that set up. And what are you complaining about? Oh, I'm just not manufacturing enough expensive clothing, which has been an ongoing problem. But yeah, so the goal here is we just want to start hammering away at Ingrid as much as possible. Now, in a couple of hours, we'll be switching over to a game called Norse Oath of Blood. They're doing a sponsored segment. It's a turn-based tactics game that is Viking-themed. Alright, so we have the main assembly line. So we'll be checking that out. And then after that, we'll be checking out... Outbound has its demos just come out. Oh, you're bigger than I gave you credit for. Alright. This is going to take a little finagling here, unfortunately. These are going to be hard to make work. Okay, so that's one machine. So... electronics workstation. Okay. So we can have it making any of these things. So let's go for the Artie Fish smartphone. We'll be in that one. And then we're going to get the consumer goods here. Oh, 1 second. So basically I'm just setting up these manufacturing machines so that once I'm able to buy the supplies in about a week, we can start producing high-end electronics to sell and compete against Ingrid. Alright, for right now, though, I don't have the supplies I need. I don't think it's realistic that we can get those supplies set up. Let's double check to make sure we already have a contract with whatever group does this. So let's go to our purchasing agent. And I believe it'd be you who has the electronics? No, you're our booze. Alright. Yep, thank you for the reminder of the shout-out. Let's get the shout-out for Radamant. And again, check out Radamant, absolutely fantastic. Again, thank you for the raid, playing some Hotel Galactic, but plays a lot of similar games here. If you like the content here, you'll probably like it there, and vice versa. And also, thank you, Ethelong, for the 3-stream streak, and Sniper for the 25-stream streak. I do really appreciate that. But yeah, so make sure to hit that favorite button and all that. Get to check out, or not favorite button, whatever, the follow button. Check them out and all that stuff. Okay, so we've got a lot of materials I would need for this. Alright. So. I don't want to do, like, actual math. I'm not on early, I'm on my normal time I'm always on. I've kept this schedule for... Oh, you're not changed over to electronics. That'll be a Xanaman. And that'll be an Artie Fish phone. So we need resistors, transistors, capacitors, integrated circuits, copper-clad laminate, speaker, microphone, plastic, glass, and batteries. Oh boy, that is going to be a lot of money. I don't think realistic we managed to get that open this in-game week. I think what happens here is we've got those manufacturing plants set up. We wait till we get our payout to resupply this week. And once that's done, we get a ton of shelves, because that's going to be a whole lot of stuff going on there. I'm also going to need to add a delivery driver onto the number of people we're hiring, so that I have a delivery driver to deliver those electronics. And it's one of those things that are going to honestly be starting with, like, just selling the smartphones and then getting the next thing set up. But the whole point here is that is Ingrid's main moneymaker, is the electronics store. So we want to go in there and split up her market as much as possible to just take a punch out of her money. So we're going to quickly go and race through, doing our self-care until we hit Monday, because Monday is when we get our shipping coming in. And that's just going to pop up. It's going to keep popping up until I manage to expand our manufacturing capabilities there. Honestly, we've got enough happiness locked in. We're just going to go ahead and... We woke up, we're going to go back to bed. And we're going to knock out like 2 days, and we're just going to get to Monday, which is when we do our big shipping. We have received a message from one of my staff members, which usually means they're unhappy about something. Now, we have acquired businesses that did a really bad job of considering their employees' wants and needs. So it's likely related to that. Oh, no, it's not that. We're being warned that we got about 60 days until one of my hair cutters will be retiring. Which is fine. They're just going to go ahead and advance one more day. And then we're going to have like $500,000 spent here resupplying things. Okay. So that means that 1.4 million, I am just good to use. So we're going to cut over here. I'm going to grab... Actually, we'll use the phone. We're going to go to... There, we'll just get 2 more seconds, and then we can call him. They call you, and we're going to tell you to send it to RAM or else. Today at 2 p.m., we want the pallet shelves. And I want a lot of them. That might be more than I can actually use, but that's what we're going to do for right now. We're going to order that. The other thing I'm going to need to do is, let's see here real fast. I'm going to need to go to my business stuff. We go to our purchasing people, and we get our supplies. I have no concept of how much of these materials I need. Let's see if we can get an answer for that. So we can go here. The Artie, not that one. The Artie Fish smartphone. Okay. I hate that I'm going to have to think about it this way. Alright, let's go ahead and do some quick maths. So, we make a max production per hour of 30. So that means I need 2 transistors per hour, 1 speaker per hour, 2 resistors per hour, 1/6 of a plastic per hour, 1 microphone, 1 integrated circuit, 1/6 of a glass, 1 clad copper, 2 capacitors, and 1 battery. Alright, so we're going to use that as our baseline, and we're going to go to our staff stuff here. We're going to go to my purchasing agent, and we're going to get the person here. Alright. So that means we're dealing with... Aw, man. Calculator. So our baseline for a full week would be, there are 24 hours, times 7 days, and it's going to be 2 machines operating. So 336 is the baseline. And then if we need 2 of them, that doesn't seem right. Oh no, that's... Wait. Let's check that recipe again. So imagine... Oh, that's... I didn't need to do it this way. So 30 per hour, and that's how much... Oh, these are going to be painful amounts of material. That's the raw ingredients needed for the recipe. Alright, I'm not mathing it. We're just doing it by the ratio. Okay, so we're going to just do it by the ratio. So we're going to grab you. So batteries. I need to cancel this order. You are being assigned to RAM or else. Capacitors, RAM or else. Copper laminate, RAM or else. Integrated circuits, RAM or else. Metal band, and was not one of them. Microphone, plastic, resistors. Speaker was on the list. Transistors. And we do not need the uncut gems and glass. Okay. We'll do it live. Yeah, no, I was going to start doing the math. I'm like, no, hang on. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is this is what we need for the clothing. And that's appropriate for the clothing, what I found. So we can use that as our baseline. Unfortunately, today is the day that that was delivered. How fast does the clothing go through material? That might give us an idea of where to start our thing. So we'll go... Expensive women's clothing. Recipe. Okay. So you are at the higher end. And so we're looking at 60,000 on the higher end. It probably doesn't need to be that high because I am doubling and tripling up on that. So we'll probably do about half that amount. Alright, so purchasing agent, go here. You've got that set. So batteries, there's one battery for each. So you're going to be 30,000. That's $260,000 already. The capacitor is... Wait. You were the higher end, so you can get away with probably 15,000. The capacitors would be 30,000. The copper-clad laminate would be about 15,000. The glass would only be about 5,000. The integrated circuits would be about 15,000. The microphone would be about 15,000. The plastic would be about 5,000. The resistors would be the 30,000. 15,000 on the speakers. The transistors would be the 30,000. Okay, do we have everything? Glass, check. Integrated circuits, check. Microphone, check. Plastic, check. Resistors, check. Speakers, check. The copper... Where's the copper? It was here. The copper, check. The capacitors, check. And the battery, check. Alright, so that's just going to casually cost us about $600, almost $700,000. So put that order in. So that means between all of our stuff, we're probably going to be looking at around $700,000 to $800,000 per week in overhead. Great. I'm going to make really good decisions right now, and we're going to go ahead and call you up, do another order, 2 here, for today. No, it'll be tomorrow. And if we're just going to go and do this, let's do this. So we're going to go ahead and get all that stuff and get 2 more consumer-grade production things and burn another $100,000. Or not 100, $1 million. A much bigger number than 100,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and ride our taxi over to our new manufacturing plant. Because in just about 1 minute, we'll get all of our shelves delivered. And then the plan from here is we're going to set up 2 more of these. And then we're just going to toss up a bunch of shelves and all that. And just make it work. We're going to have to hire in an incredible amount of staff here. Let's move you in the back where I could make you fit easier, probably. Maybe. Maybe not. These assembly lines are so ridiculously large. Alright. Because then the hope here is I can get all this manufacturing set up and get it starting to turn away, and then go to our electronics store and start building that out. Now, if we're going to try and compete with Ingrid on all of her products, I think genuinely I'm going to need multiple manufacturing plants just to deal with it. Which is a little concerning with how much it's going to require us to add infrastructure. I might have needed to hold out for an even bigger location. Okay, so I won't be able to fit more machinery in between here, so we're just going to shove a bunch of these shelves in between. One weird thing about this is with the shelves, in real life, obviously, these would be non-reachable. The video game don't care. And I am okay in this case with that, because we are going to be struggling really hard for space in this place. I'm sure some of these will end up having to move around as we get our second round of machines, but that's That's the deal with when we get to that stage. And normally I like to arrange these in ways that make sense and all that. We're just kind of in a situation here where space is a premium I can't afford. So we're just going to sit those over here for now, and I'll move them to other places once we get our machinery in tomorrow. Okay. So, unfortunately, that location isn't going to be doing anything until Monday, next week. Where I'm going to need to have like $1 million in the bank just waiting. Because then next week we get our giant supply of stuff in. And that'll start the manufacturing, and at that point we can start worrying about the actual retail shop. Now, with all that production set up, most likely I'm going to want to make it a major focus. I'm going to want to make it a major focus to have a couple of different retail stores that we run there. Alright. No need to go back out here. And get back to our place here. Now, one downside is, for whatever reason, the game does not have any audio settings for the manufacturing. It's just, you can literally turn the game sound off, and it won't affect it. So once this manufacturing plant fires up, I will be muting the game sound every single time I go in here on OBS, so you don't have to listen to the cacophony that is going into this place. Okay. So we need to go to you. You'll be electronics as well. Alright, so we've got the 2 smartphones being made. You'll also get, like, the regular phone. That's a Xanamax. And an Arty phone. Okay, so we're going to be making all of the phones. Let's make this slightly less cursed. Just slightly. So realistically, I could probably get 2 more, I can probably get 2 more of the manufacturing machines in here. Yeah, it's fine for now. Okay, so that's basically all set up and ready to rock and roll once we get the supplies in. So let's get back home, because we're going to need to get some money set aside. I'm expecting the cost to be over $1 million. Could you not leave me, taxi? So I'm expecting that to be over $1 million to get that all going. Once we've got that in the pocket, we'll worry about the next step of the whole thing. I'm just gonna go to sleep. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Alright. Meanwhile, let's take a quick little peek here. I want to see if she has started to deal with that. So it's apparel or else. I believe is the local competitor we have there. Yeah, we still have the lowest prices here. Let's take a quick look at the rivals. So she started coming back up. Her clothing stores, the money she's making from her clothing stores has absolutely bottomed. She was making almost 120,000 on both of those. Now, granted, it looks like she has opened up a new business or two, or at least changed something with her businesses, that she is starting to have her weekly income start coming back up. That's fine. We are continuing to hammer away at this, which works out for me. But if we're looking at, because let me make sure I'm looking at the right store. So this is the store I'm competing with her. Yeah, it's apparel or else. We can look at our pricing here. And as I mentioned before, we just want to make sure that we are the bottom price in the area so that we are undercutting her constantly. Cool. We're just going to go right back to bed. We're working our way over towards Monday. It's making about 500,000 a day, not quite. Let's go run outside, grab ourselves some food to restore, like, get our grocery store topped off. And you still just complaining about supplies. Hey, deliveries or else is finally down to almost catching up with all that. A big part of that is there's probably been a decrease in demand for clothing just because of more competition in the neighborhood. And so likely what that's done is it's allowed my manufacturing to catch up. Which isn't really a good problem to have, because it means I'm selling less product. At the same time, I'm not too fussed by it. Right now, we're in that stage of the game where going out of business isn't a real concern for me. My competition can certainly inconvenience me a lot, but I would need most of my rivals to compete in multiple districts, because that's part of the thing about being spanned through many districts, is even if in this district my competitor is just absolutely causing me mayhem, the worst they can do is get my costs down to a point that I'm simply not selling enough product. And then ultimately, I'm just losing my operating expenses. Which is mostly just like staffing costs and like rent, which is not that bad. I'm not too fussed about it. Okay. Yeah, so you'll be doing a bit of fast forwarding with all this. Why do you keep telling me that that person's showing up sick? It should all be handled by HR. Let me check. Oh, we probably have people who are still not covered by HR. So we got that HR department. We got our other one. So add employees. Bill. Okay, upgrade to gold quality insurance. Upgrade to silver quality insurance. Alright, so we had a couple people who weren't being trained by HR. That's not surprising. We've been doing some pretty dramatic growth recently. Okay. The one thing we might be able to do is if I make enough money, we might actually be able to get all of the products for electronics being produced in that first week. I'll probably run low on supplies before the week's out. But that would be good because that would mean I'm selling everything. I might take my chances with it. Let's go ahead and we'll knock out some gaming. So we'll game for a couple of hours here to get us into the day. Can I do another order of stuff here? And RAM or else. Deliver tomorrow. 2 more of these machines. For another $1 million. We're just going to advance ourselves till tomorrow. And the plan here is just basically get the entire electronic stuff set up at one time. I was expecting to have to go like just the smartphones, then the next week go for the other phones. It looks like I'm making enough money that I don't have to, like, I could just wire that all up in one go. This does mean I need to go back here. Let's make sure we're going to start bringing in our... I don't have any factory people listed here. Huh? Let's go. So, Headhunter, grab you. We need the factory workers, start recruiting. I need 20 candidates. Customer service, start recruiting. I want 10 candidates. Get that all going. That way we have employees tomorrow to immediately start chucking on these. Because we'll need customer service, security, cleaning, and factory workers. The other thing I'm going to need that I've forgotten about is a delivery driver who's not incompetent. I think I might have one in training. We'll need to check that. Okay, consumer good assembly machine. Laser cutting. Kiln, so I'm going to have to put you down. And probably make that work. Let's move these shelves out of the way real quick. And you'll be an electronics workstation. And you are going to be making the Noise Boss earbuds. So let's go over here. Yeah, the reveal of what's going on today. The reveal is that Outbound's demo's getting shadow dropped. So we'll be checking that out on stream in a little bit. A little bit later on. Yeah, but I couldn't talk about it till I think it was 10 a.m. today is when the embargo lifted. Alright. So now I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna set you up to electrical and the rhythm headset. Okay, so we literally are going to be producing every single one of the goods there. So hopefully I should not need to walk into that building and we'll never need to face the cacophony that is dealing with that. And then first thing in the morning we will have the sorry, we're gonna have the, what's the words I'm looking for? We'll have the delivery drop in of all the raw materials there. You played earlier, interesting to see where I'd take it? Yeah. You know, it's been a game that people have been very excited about for a while. A lot of people kickstarted it, so it's got a lot of hype behind it. And so it's one I've kind of had my eye on without, like, really digging in deep. Because it's one of those things that a lot of times with a lot of those games, I just kind of want to wait to see... Like, getting hyped about a game that isn't available yet, I try to limit, because I've been let down a lot over the years. Alright, let's look at... So the candidates here... I got some cleaning people who will be available for a while longer. We got some customer service people. Why am I not... Why are all you being marked for that? Oh, right, because it's a weekend and our headhunters aren't working to fill those. Right. We're gonna go till 8 tomorrow, and we're about to lose about $1 million in buying supplies. And just like that, $1.2 million into supplying everything. So what's going to end up happening here is we're going to start hiring lots of people. And now we need to go to our electronics store, which is this one. Because I'm going to need to go in here and start configuring it and all that kind of stuff. And that's the point that when I open that, Ingrid's going to get pissed. Which is perfect. Yeah, so this is our location for electronics store. It's going to be hard to directly compete. I think her electronics store has a bigger footprint, as it were. But we'll do what we can. All right, so let's look here. So the electronics store, we have display product, display table. Yeah, so are you all display tables? Yeah, so it looks like everything here is going to go on display tables as their way of selling it. All right. So what we can do here real fast is I can click on the store here. That's not the right store. It can have a maximum number of customers of 30 at a time. So we need to make sure whatever display tables we get are sufficient to cover that need. So let's go ahead and start shopping. I believe we'll need the essentials place. They're not open till 10, so we will not be calling them quite yet. And in the meantime, we've got customer service, security, and all that. So you are going to go... Oh, right, I haven't actually set you to be a business. So start business. You are going to be an electronics wholesaler. Or electronics store. Select gadgets or else. Alright. The moment it hits 10, we'll open that up. Meanwhile, we're looking to watch for when they get the factory people. Are you actually doing this? So you're set to customer service. You are set to factory workers. You just haven't gotten anyone yet. That's fine. Because I do need them working on that. But what we want to do here is get this whole place set up. It'll take a day or two to get everyone in here. That's fine. That'll get the factory time to get the people in there as well. Okay, so with that, we can call essential appliances. So we want to deliver to gadgets or else. 2 p.m. today, add items. So I'll need a cleaning station. We'll need a set of speakers. We'll need... Doesn't tell me how much a register. I think a register was 15 people it can handle. So we'll need those. We will need a bunch of security cameras. Security panels for the door. Security guard thing there. A modular sink. Probably 2 sets of baskets. Grab some shelves for the back room. Toilet. And am I missing anything else here that we need? Think that's it for this store. So order all that. And then the next thing I need to do is go to AJ and Peterson. and get the order of the other items I need that aren't available. There, so 2 p.m. today as well. So we need a uniform locker. We've already got the shelves. We've already got the baskets. Product table. I'm going to guess it is 2 tables per product to cover our needs. I could be wrong. We could be just buying too many. But that would solve that. I need 2 of these for the registers. We can order all that. So 2 p.m. we got a huge order of stuff coming in here. Is there a park bench or something we can kill a little bit of time with? Here, we'll go walk in the park for a minute. Because it'll be 2 p.m. that arrives, so that's about 3.5 minutes. So we can fast forward time by going to Grand Central Park. And if we sit down on a bench at Grand Central Park, we could fast forward time. Alright, so that's all the stuff for the store has arrived. Oh, nope, not RAM or else. Gadgets or else. Meanwhile, let's check on our employee options. We're looking for factory workers. Okay, so I know we're going to need a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to start. Then you go here and say hire and assign to RAM or else. Confirm. They've just hired on 10 people to our manufacturing there. So RAM or else. We can go here, go to the schedule, and just say fill up the schedule with as much as you can. We're going to probably need way more people here. But once we get this, that'll be the beginnings of producing our electronics. Which is then when we want to make sure we're starting to get things moving towards there. Needless to say, I do not have remotely a full schedule. Honestly, we could probably use almost 10 more. So let's go and look at our candidates again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's start with 8. I don't want to overhire and then end up with an issue from that. So hire and assign to RAM or else. Go to RAM or else, and then we'll just hit the button to set their schedules again. Because then I don't have to micro it myself. Now, the other thing we're needing is the delivery driver, which is going to potentially be a massive Achilles heel on this one. Because if I don't have a driver who's skilled enough to drive a delivery vehicle, I have to train one up, and that's going to potentially delay. So we got at least 2 more employees worth. That's fine. I'm just going to keep on going through here. I do not have anyone else to hire yet. Are you still working on hiring, or is that your full set? Okay, you're still hiring people. That's fine. Well, getting me candidates. Alright, the next thing I'm going to need to do, before I forget, let's call over to the auto dealer. Get a freight truck delivered to RAM or else. And let's see, do I have an extra driver? Because I genuinely don't remember. I do have an extra driver. This is perfect. Okay, you now work at RAM or else. Cool. And let's go over to our HR people. Because I need to get everyone on an HR plan. So that they get their health insurance, and then if they get sick, they'll get, people in to replace them for the day, and they automatically get trained, and yada yada. Alright. So it's looking like our manufacturing plant just needs maybe 1 or 2 more factory workers. We'll probably go with 2 to be functional there. And then now what I need to do is set up a lot of junk. So put the cleaning station back here. Storage shelves for products we'll put back here. There's a good chance I'll end up needing more of these, but 4 is a pretty good starting point. Yeah, and those, they always start on by default, and we already have the radio turned off. That is the one big negative that this game has from its early access, is just the fact that there's lots of little pain points like that of audio settings that don't do anything, that kind of thing. It is one of my big gripes that does come up each time it happens. Because it also triggers YouTube to flag it as copyright material. And I can't make it go away. I'm not too fussed about it. I don't make much money off of YouTube, plus, you know, it's not like I main this game or whatever. But it's still annoying. And it's not like it's a new problem. Alright, so we're putting up our security panels. Got our cameras up. Got that, we got our sink for the bathroom. Got our toilet. Got our cabinets and drawers. Okay. And so now the question is, how many customers does each one of these support? My guess was that it's going to need around this many, but I don't actually know off the top of my head. Okay. So we'll want to have... So the Xanaman smartphone here. Xanaman smartphone. Artifish smartphone. Artifish smartphone. Xanaman regular phone. Arty regular phone. Xanaman regular phone. Arty regular phone. Noise Boss headsets. And Rhythm by Trey headsets. Okay, so if we look at our stuff for the Gadgets R Us. Alright, so it looks like I need 1 more display for each product. So I need 6 more displays. Let's call those in. Those won't arrive today, they'll arrive tomorrow, but that's okay. So Gadgets R Us, 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I need 6 more displays. Because they have 6 products, and I need 1 extra display of each for each. Which means for this to make sense, you can do it like this. Yep, so then we'll add the extra tables on the inside here, and that'll take care of that. Alright, so now I can go to the employees for this place and get everyone queued up. So if we look at our potential hires, I do have 2 security workers. Let's go ahead and put those on RAM or else and RAM or else. Actually, I'll do it this way. So there's them. So assign RAM or else for our factory workers. And then go into RAM or else, get them queued up, and that should be enough to completely fill up the schedule. So we know we're producing everything. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Let's see, not sure if you're streaming on YouTube right now, but you hear they're down, but still good for mobile devices. I mean, I do show as having viewers over there. I usually don't have a ton of YouTube viewers most of the time. Most of the people check out the VODs later kind of thing. But every once in a while we'll have an exception where we have a host or whatever over there. Alright, so I still don't have enough factory workers. So we're going to go ahead and go to our headhunters. Because you were the one looking for factory workers. Keep looking. In the meantime, I probably need 4 or 5 customer service people. 2 security guards. Let's also, instead of doing our own homework, let's just check out our competition. So what is... If we look at the electronics store here, that's Ingrid's store. So she's open from 6 to 6. That is a long set of hours. All right. You have me convinced. I could do my own homework and see what makes sense, but you know what? I'm going to assume that you have done your homework and just repeat it. Okay. So now let's go here. So that might be a little bit more than I planned for. All right, so let's grab 2 cleaning people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 customer service, and 1, 2 security guards. Hire and assign to gadgets or else. Bring them all in. Then we go to gadgets or else here, go to our settings. I need to have everyone assigned to her work uniform, otherwise the customers come in and whine about it, because the customers are terrible. For our insight, we're at 50%. So we're going to set up a marketing campaign. Not today, because they're not open. Alright. So logistics, you. I can add another destination. So new destination. You're going to go to gadgets or else. And the only thing you have here is the paper bags. So you're going to deliver 2,000 paper bags. Cool. So that takes care of that. We will need... Oh, I'm going to need another logistics person. All right. We will need to go to our headhunters. Because you're not bringing in more people right now. Let's have you set to look for a logistics manager. And get that going for tomorrow, because I'll need that so they deliver the goods here. Meanwhile, let's go and check on RAM or else, drivers. You can't use that yet, which is unfortunate. We'll just have to live with that. I need to go to your schedule and get that all assigning real quick. Yeah, so we should start being able to produce all of these phones and gadgets and all like that, and then ultimately get those moved over. One concern I'm going to have to be careful about is if it takes me a while to spin up the electronics business, I will be buying the supplies to make the phones before I'm selling the phones, which would be real bad, because then I'd basically be wiping myself out financially. Alright, let's see how good we do with the schedule with who we brought in here. Alright, so cleaning, I'm short. Security, I'm short. It does look like I'm probably fine on there. No one's got any warning flags on them, so I probably need one more... Oh, I hired part-timers. Boo. It's fine. No, it's not. Alright. So, John here. You're off the schedule, man. Okay. Meanwhile, let's go look at our other one. And both of our cleaning people end up being part-time. And the reason it's not fine is that means they take up more HR slots, which is just a pain. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and pop into my employee list here. Look for people with no tasks. You three, you're fired. Let's look over here at our list of candidates again. So we are looking for cleaning. The only one there is listed as part-time. Okay, so what's going to need to happen is we're not going to be ready to open tomorrow anyway, so that's fine. We can look at our headhunters. So you are both already tied up. I need the extra factory workers and all that, so that's fine. So basically this store is not ready to open quite yet. I need a couple more people working here. And all that. Travel up the road 5 feet. Okay. Almost there. And the good news about this stuff when it gets set up is once I've got this place all set up, I can just blueprint the location, go to the next spot, drop it, and it's all sorted. Okay, so we've now got our paper bags in stock for our place over here. We can run over here as well, because I'm going to want to expand this more. I've still got to make the place nice and everything. Okay. So, potential hires. Okay, get rid of the part. Let's knock the part-timers off here so I don't accidentally hire any part-timers. Okay, so we got a bunch of customer service. I don't need those. Cool. Well, we got the list emptied so we can see as that pops in. So in about 30 seconds, we'll have the next delivery show up here. And we'll see how much that covers our needs. And that'll get us our 6 other benches here. I also need to make the interior of this nicer, so let's get that done. We'll start with the walls, because it is, unfortunately, your interior design score is based on the amount spent. Or the amount of the cost of the interior design. So it does kind of really force you to just choose whatever, like, the best materials are. And go with that. Alright, so we're at 99%. Which is probably fine. And 100%. Okay, so in a couple of seconds, the last 6 tables should come in here. We can put them all along their areas. And then we can get that all set up. And then from there, we're just waiting for our ability to deliver the goods and have people here to sell them. Alright. It's a little snugger than I thought it was going to be, but we could fix that easy enough. Alright, so you're going to be the Zenimax smartphone. You'll be the Zenimax regular phone. You're the tray headsets, which means you're the noise headsets. You're the Arty smartphone, and you're the Arty regular phone. Okay, so now if we check that one, we can do all the comparisons. So if we look at all these shelves, I can have up to 30 customers, and our capacity on all of them is at least 30. So technically I didn't need the second set of baskets, they're completely redundant, but I already own them, so there's not really a reason to get rid of them. I'm also going to go ahead and call the marketing company and get a marketing campaign set. We'll start with the medium to see how it does. So now if we look at the interest in the company, Yeah, so the medium one only got me 18%. We're going to want bigger than that. So let's go to the city ads here. And we're going to go ahead and buy a pretty expensive, it's about 2,000 bucks ad campaign there. And see how that does. That is enough to like fully cover stuff. If I turn off the medium campaign, how would that do? I think that's too much. Now, granted, you only pay if you're actually using the campaign. As well as things I kind of wish the way this worked is you didn't have to go through these extra steps to turn them on. Because there's no consequence to just going in here and pausing it. So it almost feels like it should just be a toggle here after the first time. Okay, so that gets me 88% for a small campaign there. We turn those two on together. Okay, so that's going to be my best bang for my buck, spending about 750 bucks to max out our presence or whatever. So now let's go look at our employee candidates list. We got another factory worker. Let's hire them in real fast. And see if we can't get this place fully covered. I probably need one more after this. We're getting to a little bit more of a spreadsheety side of this game. Early on, you're doing a lot more of like I was doing, setting up the displays and all that. All right, so we need at least one more worker. I think one more worker is all I need. Yeah, one more worker should cover that. Bear with me for a second, chat. I need to use a restroom real fast. I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll be right back. And thank you again for tuning in. Okay, and I'm back. All right. So, we need to get all this stuff delivered. If we're checking on our business right now, how is the gadgets place looking? So, if we're looking at it, we do have the single most important thing of our actual people selling the goods. We've got a partial coverage for security, and then no cleaning whatsoever, which is certainly not what we want. We do have all the stuff for the phones and all that. And if we check on our headhunters, we've got one logistics manager coming in and and we need one more factory worker. So that's fine. So we just need to kill a little bit of time. I shouldn't need to go back into that store anymore. We've got it configured now. It should just be a matter of getting the people in and at their... And there we got our next set of candidates here. All right, so logistics manager, boom. I don't have a strong feeling about this. So we got you here. Factory worker. Boom, welcome aboard. So we're going to immediately go over here and grab the one that was getting the logistics people. We're going to stop recruiting there. I'm going to switch you over to cleaning people. We do not want part-timers. And we do not want anyone who's going to be picky about their shifts, just because they're a pain in the butt to schedule then. So meanwhile, we can go here, and we'll do one last pass on the schedule. This should get everyone locked in. And hey, Flix, how's it going? This should get it so the schedule is 24/7. All the machines are running at capacity. And that'll be that locked in. I should just need 2 cleaning people. Yeah, okay, factory workers are done. So you can go to the headhunter that's hiring the factory workers. We're going to stop recruiting for those, and we're going to switch over to looking for security guards and get that going. In the meantime, we go over to our people over here, and I'm just going to click on all of those and discard those candidates. And then we're going to go to our second building here. Go schedule, assign you. That gives us a logistics manager to put at the warehouse for RAM or else. And you can't drive the truck yet. Brought to you by the power of lurking. Thank you, Angie Foxtrot, for the 100 stream trick. I do really appreciate it. Okay, so alright. How do I want to address this? Because I don't know what we need to be able to drive the big truck. And I know there's going to be a bunch of materials on the shelf, so me trying to get all the stuff from the truck is going to be a pain. If we look here, I do have... Alright. So what I could potentially do... Alright, I think I know what I'm doing. We could probably get away with this like this. I don't need as many vehicles as it's going for. So we're going to go up here, and I'm going to turn off the in-game sound on OBS for a minute, because the factories don't respect sound settings at all, and are a very, very, very unpleasant sound. So I'm going to run up here, we're going to take the vehicle out of this one, we're going to switch it over to my other warehouse just to drop off, and just leave there for a minute. And then we're going to go and grab that vehicle and bring it back here, because I believe our delivery driver can handle it. So you're going to lose game audio for a moment. Such a terrible sound. Okay. And you can now have your game audio back. Alright, so where am I going with this? So we're going to go and check on these. So we have this one, manufacture or else. So we want to set our destination to there. Where's the umbrella? Ah, no, we're not doing that. Embrace the rain. This is... The engine on this thing sounds like it's electric or propane or something. Which is neither here nor there. It's just not what I would expect a big delivery truck sound to be. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and kill the game sound for a moment again. Because again, the audio on this is horrendous. Please move. There should be a free vehicle spot in this. Oh, I'm going to the wrong building. Never mind. There isn't a free spot here. I'm going to the wrong building. It's this building I need to be pulling into. Okay. You can have game audio back. Alright. So with this, I should be able to go up to you, and then park this in, because this requires a lower level of driving ability to be able to drive it. So our new driver should be able to handle this. And if not, or if I just made it so the other one can't handle it, then that would be annoying. Which the solution should just be, it gets resolved in a couple of in-game days or whatever. But I'd rather just have it resolved now. Okay. And to only briefly subject you to what this sounds like so you can understand why I'm... Wait. Where's the bait order you? So you can understand why I keep muting it. So you're gonna have an unpleasant sound here in just a minute. And I'll keep it brief. We'll just go in, park, and leave. Oh, there's the bay door way over there. Alright, so this is why I keep turning off the sound. And keep in mind, I have a limiter on my audio that caps out how loud it's allowed to go for OBS. So, it's even louder for me. And it doesn't matter. We even tried taking the global sound and turning it off entirely, and it still plays at that volume. It is something they really need to fix, because it is a very unpleasant sound. Okay, so now let's look at our logistics. Manage drivers. You can unassign, reassign you. Cool, you can handle that. That was my fear. Alright, so let's go here. We need to get you, drivers, do this. You can handle that. No, you can't. Never mind. Someone's had to have made a mod for that? Probably not. There is a modding scene for this game, but for the most part, the modding scene is around these blueprints, which is where people have done, like, pre-laid out places. There's not been too much outside of that I've seen. Now, granted, I haven't checked, like, Nexus mods or anything like that, so I could be just blissfully unaware. But, nevertheless, it is a whole thing. Oh, I need to make sure. Okay, so we got one of our staff members is going to whine to us about something. Okay. So you just have a delivery issue. Alright, so you're going to be retiring in about 60 days. So we basically got a lot of people who are about to retire. What I forgot to do is right now I can't set up any of those other things. Let's make sure, I haven't been checking. Do you have everyone we just hired? Okay. We do have everyone we've hired on there, so that's put you up to gold quality health insurance. I'm probably going to need another HR person here very soon. Meanwhile, before I forget, we got a full-time, we'll probably need 2 full-time cleaning people, and 1 more full-time security person. So I can set you over to gadgets or else. We're almost ready to open this place. Alright. So I've got all the staffing sorted out. The only thing holding it up is physically delivering the goods. And I really don't want to do it manually. I am accepting I'm probably going to need to do it manually, but I really don't want to. Why are you... Not enough ingredients. We are out of capacitors, transistors, and resistors. But why are we out of those things? All right, let's check our purchasing order. Did I goof on it? Because that's entirely possible. All right, so let's go ahead real fast, check our purchasing agent. That is not the purchasing agent I'm worried about. Let's go check over here with this purchasing agent, you. Did I run out of shelf space? Because those are on the list. I must have run out of shelf space. How did I run out of shelf space? Okay. 1 second. And check out Bassett. I believe the last thing they're playing was, Dragon Quest 9. Did I really run out of shelf space for all that stuff? I mean, if that ends up being a problem, the workaround would likely be setting up a separate warehouse that just houses copious amounts of it, and then have that warehouse deliver to the factory throughout the week. But let's go and check this out. I'll kill the game audio again so we're not deafening everyone. Because it doesn't look like it made the phones, that like it just didn't have it, but I did have it set up to do it. Okay, audio's killed. We definitely didn't run out of shelf space. But the whole place is shut down. Okay, so they have made the phones and everything, but we did run out of material pretty early in the week. Actually, don't need the sound killed, because all the manufacturing shut down when we run out of capacitors. Okay, so that's telling me what I need to be doing here is go here, go to my purchasing agent, go to you, and I know I'm going to regret this. We ran out of stock of these, so we're going to cancel this order. Or you go in here and say 60,000. $60,000. Probably bump you up to 30,000. 60,000. Let's make you 20,000. 30,000. 7,500. Probably 20,000. The solid $1 million. And I got Luxury at 135, stream streak. Do appreciate. Yeah, so I just didn't order enough goods. Oh, what we... I don't really... Like, I don't want to manually do the deliveries because I'm going to have to hunt through the shelves looking for the product. There's not a way to target it. You're meant to automate that. And that will resolve itself soon. It'll take a couple of days for that person to get up to the point that they're able to do the deliveries every morning. I just need to get them that last little bit of training, which they're working on, but they should go up to like 2 to 4% per day. And they're close. They're really close. So they go here. You're at 40. I'm guessing it's 50% skill to drive that vehicle. So we're looking at just a couple of days. Meanwhile, I think it's just going to eat all of my cash and do nothing of redeeming value. And that's the life we live. That's fine. In the meantime, we'll just slowly build up our supplies. Okay, and we'll just stop for a second, check you, check this. Not enough. Go to bed. Wake up the next day. And the problem we're running into is our driver doesn't have a high enough skill level, so they're not allowed to drive that vehicle. I don't know what the cutoff is, but I'm sure it can't be higher than 50%. And then plus, we're waiting for the delivery of goods to get the factory back online. Because I've grossly underestimated just how much supplies it can go through and how fast. So same deal. Manage drivers. Not yet. And the other thing I want to check is we're going to go to the next day, and I'm going to check my other factory to make sure it has enough expensive cloth for making clothing, to make sure it's not going like 5 days out of the week, running out of supplies, and shutting down. Alright, so let's check you. Manage. Probably the next day we'll probably be able to do that. But let's go take a look at manufacturer else. Okay, so all of these are also shut down due to not enough ingredients. That's what I wanted to check. Meanwhile, let's make sure you are actually configured to deliver, because I just didn't think about that. So we can go to logistics here. Oh, delete that delivery plan. It doesn't have anything on it. Yeah, so you're all configured. You're good. Alright, so what I need to do real fast is go to our purchasing agent. Go to you. Got 11 hours, I can still adjust our order. And I need to go in here to fabric expensive. We're going to double that up to having almost $2 million within raw materials ordered. So let's listen to our wallet scream. Okay. So let's check out what we got here. So we should be able to go down here to RAM or else, and you're finally assigned. With that, I can go over to our business stuff, go to our logistics person that's here. You can now add a new destination, which is going to be to deliver. Oh, that's interesting. So I have to deliver it to one of my other warehouses to then go out for delivery. Alright, that had not been part of my plan. Deliveries or else should work. And we want to keep, let's say, 5,000 of each product. In that warehouse. The rest of these are all materials. Okay, so you deliver to the other warehouse, which means I then need to go to the other warehouse. We'll need to go to your logistics, because I already have a delivery going out for you, where we'll try and keep 500 of each respective device on the shelf. We can adjust those volumes later. Okay, cool. So that's going to take a hot minute to do all that. Are you making RAM affordable or just making RAM? We're not doing either of those things. We're just, we're taking RAM that we pulled out of old computers from the trash, and we're just relabeling them, and then putting them up for sale as new. Incomplete delivery, not enough inventory for the following. Oh, that's terrible. So I'm going to need to go to our supplies real fast here. Purchasing agent, you. Paper bag. You're going to need to bump this up to 10,000 paper bags. Then we're going to go here, and you're now going to bump up to 25,000 paper bags. And then this one, we don't care about that. Hurry, Furbers. You love your DDR2 and your modern computer. Alright, so we've got that set up. Gonna be a hot minute. But let's go ahead and bump until tomorrow. Because we should, in the next day or two, have everything get delivered to our electronics store. At which point we'll finally be able to open it. You received a logistics delivery from Nathan or whatever. Alright. And with all that, you are now officially open. Current security is only average. Okay. I had not anticipated that being an issue. Alright. Yeah, it's just telling me that I didn't have enough phones and all that made. That's fine. Alright, so that was not expected. So let's go in here. We can go to you. Essential appliances call. We've reached outside business hours by 4 seconds. And call them up again. Call. And I want to deliver this to gadgets or else. Today at 2. Alright, so it's saying our security isn't enough. Which is interesting, because I'm pretty sure everything we had in there was under camera. So we get more cameras. We already have that. We already have the security panel at the door. The turnstiles and all that shouldn't matter. Let's go check it out. Because I'm pretty sure I had everything under camera coverage. Unless I just need to have a second security guard. Yeah, no, I've got literally 4 cameras. I guess maybe because this back area is not considered under camera, it's still got an issue. I'm also surprised that we haven't heard from Ingrid yet. Because I've been opening more and more stuff in her area. Now we are directly competing against her main product line. So let's go in here also while we've got us everything here. Let's go to inventory and pricing. We are the lowest price on everything. Current security is only average. Huh. Before I forget also HR managers. Thank goodness we just opened more space. Keep everyone training as best we can. Understandably, we have terrible customer service as a brand new business. Okay. But this is going to start hammering away at Ingrid's business here. That we should be producing all of the goods, and we'll likely be able to take a really big chip out of her. So then the next question would be, what would be the next target? Probably the jewelry store. But as you can see, the clothing business we're still toppling. We've cut their clothing business to making less than half of what it was making. She was at over 1.5 million that she was making per week. We've already dropped down her weekly income by almost 200,000. She doesn't have hardly anything in the way of office jobs. But I guess the next target would be the jewelry store. After which we'd look for other stuff there. I don't imagine there's any retail space we can snag up easily here right now. I'm going to check, though. Yeah, it's 807. That's too small. 807. These are all 807. That corner's going to be 807. You're 807. That's kind of our big problem right now, is almost all the ones we would want are 807. Now, that said, most likely what I can do is I can kind of double whammy things about buying out one of her small businesses that she's not doing well with, so I can get it at a cheap price, and then reopen that as something else. Now, realistically, what's going to end up happening there is I would want to expand into yet another market. And realistically, that other market is probably going to be the jewelry, which shouldn't be too hard to do. Yeah, because it's just jewelry, cheap and expensive. And that's just metal bands and uncut gems. That's all the materials. And it's just a jewelry workstation, which is the laser and polishing. So there's a good chance we could break into that next and getting there. In just a couple minutes, we'll have our next delivery. I don't know if it's literally going to be chucking up an extra set of cameras to get coverage over the entire building is going to be what I need. Because it is marking everything here as being under camera. That's why I'm a little surprised. Oh yeah, it's saying the number of units sold the last week is showing as 0 because this is the first day we're actually opening. It took this long to get everything situated. That's, I guess, a security guard just standing in the back room staring at the wall. Blood diamonds? No. Who said we're doing diamonds? We're doing nothing but cute. We're just using, like, pieces of glass that have been shined up. Our uncut gems are just wads of glass we fished out of the sand and polished up. We're going for the Claire's market. Alright, 30 seconds we'll get our delivery in. Nothing but sterling silver that's mostly nickel. And the occasional, like, piece of polished glass. Some of them with, you know, various dyes added to them to make it look like aquamarine or emerald or something. But it's still just glass. Oh, and we're still charging, like, $1,000 for it, though. Stockpile at least $100,000 of any product. Okay, so let's see if I add cameras covering all this, which this feels wrong, putting a camera in the bathroom. Does that make a difference on your security rating? Still average. Okay. So I think what needs to happen here is I think I'm going to need a second security guard thing and a second security guard. Well, second set of security guards. It could also be that my security guards just need training. That's a possibility as well, because we have our security guards and they're terrible at their jobs. If we look at our security guards working here right now, Carl here is only 14% of their training. There's a good chance that I will have to wait for them to train up and then they'll be fine. So we are going to unfortunately be dealing with a pretty decent amount of shoplifting going on in that store. That's going to really cut into our profit margins. But ultimately, that store for me is not really about making money. Obviously, I want that. That store is more about preventing Ingrid from making money. Alright, so it's only Tuesday. So the next move is going to be trying to snag ourselves a good location that we could potentially go after Ingrid's better businesses. That's a really, really good... We can double whammy this one. Let's try and find a really good location that we can scoop up. It's... Alright. Okay, so we can take this. We're going to offer 700,000. And I'm going to immediately go in here. Because we're going to shut down the business. And what'll end up happening here is I'm going to turn this into a different business type. The intention for this is that it's ultimately going to become a jewelry store. Gems or else. We'll start the business here. We're going to keep it closed. I'm going to look at the staff here. They should all be unassigned and everything. Let's make sure if we check our employees, I don't have them listed here. I do. So unfortunately for all of you, while I appreciate your complete and utter brand newness to our organization, unfortunately I have acquired your company and you're all fired. So the next move is going to be going in here and getting this business set up. There's going to be a couple different stages that this is going to come in. Because it is intended to be a jewelry store. So let's see, where was that jewelry store I just bought? Right there. It is intended to being a jewelry store. Oh, it's already 3 p.m. We're just going to go ahead and leave that for today. And we'll go ahead and get that set up. What we want to do is clean out all the flowers and all that stuff. We don't want that. That's not what we're in the business for. And I'll move on over to doing a bunch of the stuff for setting up manufacturing of jewelry. And once all that's set up, we can get there to start hammering away at Ingrid's other businesses. And we're still hovering around $400,000 profit per day. Which, considering I'm just undercutting my competition.
This is really unacceptable. Another business. You suddenly forgot who owns this neighborhood. I'm not looking for more rivals. I would rather destroy them. So you should consider if it's better business to shut down your own business.
Okay, so she's finally had it with me. That she finally bothered to call to be like, hey, you keep open. Where's the speakers? Where's the speakers? Where's the speakers? Where is the speakers? 1 second, I'm gonna kill the music. There you are. Okay. They've got to fix that. Alright, so all of this crap, I don't want. Now, I've gone through the previous ones and just designed them myself. In this particular case, because it's an already established building, the way we're going to deal with this is I am going to go in here and do interior design. Actually, let's check this real fast. So you have a C1 jewelry store. So we can go to blueprints. We want a C1 lot. It's going to be retail. And it is going to be a jewelry store. So you look at all this stuff, and you got different people's ratings and all that. It's honestly one of the things they got to do is they got to clean stuff up. Yeah, so here's the kind of stuff where they're like, okay, Max Jewelry Store. I do wish when you're looking at this stuff, it actually gave you the information about all of it. Because this is one of the problems the game has, is like, you see all these things like, okay, it's really nice looking and all that, but I don't really have a way to tell, like, which ones are the best ones and all that. To, like, actually covering our needs and everything, versus, like, what's just been made to look nice. Alright. Oh, upload date. Yeah, because some of these you can see they have, like, smartphones and all that in there. And that's, I'm looking for just the jewelry store. Because I'm worried I'm going to pick one of these up and suddenly I find out it's got a bunch of crap that I don't care about. Well, that one looks the most like a jewelry store. Sure, we're just going to hit this button. It's now the jewelry store we're doing. If it's got extra crap, we'll rip it out. And so now that I've got that blueprint, what I can do here is I can turn around and say, hey, you know what? I need you to take care of this for me. So we got gems or else. I would like you to install it tomorrow. And which the crap was it? Jewelry Boutique? Yeah, and it's got the price there. Alright, so you get the idea. Is it's going to cost me almost $500,000. And they'll take whatever's already in that place, and they'll take care of it. So that is the alternative if you don't want to build out your own places again and again, is you just pick up the phone and be like, yo, you know what? Could you just make this for me? I don't want to deal with it. Bye. And they will genuinely do that. Alright, so the other thing I'm going to need is you got that warehouse set up for all the smart devices. Let's get that out of there. I need another warehouse. Yeah, so these warehouses are the same size as the one we just got there. So I'm going to go ahead and choose you. And we're going to pick up this one. You're going to start a business. It's going to be a factory. Gem cutters or else. Start business. Close. And I don't believe we have the money to actually set it up quite yet. We're going to run on over here. Because it is Wednesday and we are dropping like $1 million plus per week on materials. As we're slowly getting ourselves all set up, equipped, whatever you want to go with. The other thing I probably should do, before I forget, is I believe we can set like a capacity for manufacturing. We should probably set a capacity for the smart devices. That we don't end up blowing all of our money continuously making more and more and more, only to realize I've made more than I need and I just don't have a use for them. But part of me also wants to not do that and leave it alone. And if I end up with too much of a surplus, I just open up another store in another district. Oh, that's my first headquarters. Okay. We'll do some exercises. And go to sleep for a couple of hours. Okay, yeah, so we'll just need the paper bags and the fancy and the not fancy gems. Yeah, and you're just complaining that we continue to need more phones and all that. So we'll keep all that going. Alright, so. Got $1.1 million. let's just work on just slamming out some time here. All right, so the next thing we need to do to keep our character happy is we need to go to the park. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out a day in the park to secure our happiness for a while longer. But we're going to be aiming to get to the next Monday, because we're only a couple days away from that. Let all the resupply happen, and then we're going to want at least 2 manufacturing machines. Probably just the 2 for now. We're going to need the 2 manufacturing machines for making the jewelry. After we have those 2 manufacturing machines, we'll probably want to go and, get the other stuff. Ooh, do you know what I probably need to do? If we have the money, I probably do need to get the shelving for the warehouse set up to bring in the uncut jewelry. So when we wake our character up in the morning, let's plan to import or deliver whatever the shelves for the manufacturing plant, whether or not we're actually ready to use it. So that way I don't get stuck waiting a full week to get everything up and running. That's fine. Okay. So, we own the manufacturing place. I've got 1.6 million in the bank. How are we doing on our purchase orders? If we look at our purchase orders here, you don't have anything going on right now. Because that was an extra one I hired forever ago. I was like, yeah, well, I'll just have him sit here for now. So you're sitting at 1 million. About 1.1, 1.2 million is about where we're at, and we'll have 2 more days of burning through product. So let's go ahead and, like I said, when we hit... let's call, I believe... You have pallet shelves. So we can go to gem cutters or else. Deliver by 2 p.m. today. We're looking for the pallet shelves. Let's get 10 of those. Cool. And that does mean what I'm going to also do, this might be a mistake, is we can go to you. You bring in all the materials. We're going to cancel that order for a minute. I have no context of how much of this we're going to need. Let's say 30,000. Okay, one. All right. We're just going to tone that down a little bit. The expensive gems. They're actually, surprise, surprise, the gems called expensive gems, actually expensive. Actually very expensive. Okay, well, alright. So, we're gonna put that order in. It's now an order for $2.2 million. So it's actually about $2.5 million. I might have to adjust that by Sunday to being something I can actually afford. But let's get over here to gem cutters. Who would have thought expensive gems are expensive? I would have never expected that. Needless to say, I'm going to have a lot of capital tied up in this place before we're done. Alright. So we got a couple of minutes till this area is ready. So it's the same style as we had last time. You have chairs I could sit in, right? Don't mind me, CEO's just gonna stop by the office. Sit in the boardroom for a couple of minutes. That way I'm all rested for when the delivery comes in. Okay. But then we'll end up having to set this up to deliver to the warehouse, and that warehouse will deliver over here. That does remind me, I am going to need another driver. For right now, we'll just shove all these along the middle here. Because I am anticipating probably only need 2, maybe 4 machines manufacturing jewelry for the time being. Okay, so that's ready to receive the shipment of jewelry. Alright. So we can travel back home. Because then after that, we're going to end up needing to get, like, the factory workers, the customer service, all that kind of stuff. I'm not too fussed about any of that until we're at the point where I'll actually be able to do something with them. I'm really hoping that's a big... Yeah, 580,000 today. Increasing our revenue. Alright, so let's take a quick look at our businesses that we are competing real fast. So I got all those empty offices we're not using. So, as apparel or else, let's check our pricing. Are we the cheapest in town? We are. Love to see it. We'll check on the next one, which is gadgets or else. Which, let's check on the invoice and pricing. Are we the cheapest in town? We are. Alright. So let's take a look at how Ingrid's doing. Ingrid's getting salty, and we are demolishing her money. She was at about 1.5 million when we started our crusade against her. She's at 1.25 million weekly income. The communication hut, which is her main business, was pulling in about 4.4 or 440,000. We've already knocked it down about 100,000. Her clothing stores here, the Just Jeans, both of those are pulling in about 120,000. We've knocked them both down to about 60,000 each. So we are cutting into her profit a lot. So that's a wonderful thing. We're just gonna go ahead and advance the day again. But yeah, so they've already taken a pretty sizable chunk out of her. And that's not even going after the fact that we're pursuing her next business venture. Okay, so it does look like I'm going to have the supplies, not enough to set up my manufacturing stuff yet. Let's quickly take a peek in here on what we got going on. I'm going to put a hit on you. Yup. Alright, let's go ahead real fast and check on our manufacturing. Manufacture else, all my machines are still running. Love to see it. Let's check on our RAM or else. RAM or else our machines have shut off due to lack of materials. And if we look at it, it's plastic that they're running out of. Everything else is fine. So let's go ahead and go into our order here real fast on our purchasing agent. We got 11 hours to change it, so let's go down here to the plastic. We're going to double that up to 10,000. And put the order back in. And we're going to go to bed. And we're going to just casually spend about $2.5 million overnight for raw materials for manufacturing. Okay. So, the downside is it's going to cost me about $1 million to get the 2 manufacturing machines I'm going to need to bring the whole jewelry production online. But we are at the stage here. Yeah, so you got a couple of days till a bunch of these ones start dropping off. Let's take a look at our place here. Where are you at? So gems or else. Yeah, so we got 2 cash registers, so I'm probably looking at somewhere in the area of 4 customer service people. We do have a security locker and cleaning. Let's quickly cheat off of someone else's homework. And rather than coming up with our own decisions on when to do our schedule, let's look at the jewelry stores in the area. And it would look like this is Ingrid's jewelry store here. And Ingrid's jewelry store opens from 10 till 8. So rather than do any of her own research, we're simply going to go and take her homework. We're going to go to our jewelry store, change our schedule, and I'm going to make it 8 to 8. All right. So what we could do here now is go to our employee stuff here and grab ourselves 2 cleaning people. Oh, those are part-times. All right, first, why am I getting part-timers? I keep telling it to not allow part-time. So we are going to... Oh, there's a job board as opposed to my headhunters. So we're going to simply throw out any and all candidates who came through. Right, that means. We will grab 4 of you to begin. And actually, probably 5 will be necessary. So we're going to hire and assign you to the gems or else. Confirm. Okay. Do that. Go into here. And I need you. You're already on it. Yep, so you start working on the security guards. That's why I'm getting them, is because I have a job board somewhere, and people are applying through the job board as opposed to other means. So we instantly got 1 security guard, potentially. Let's go in here real fast to gems or else. Schedule. All right. So I've got 1 here, Sandra here, who shouldn't have had all those restrictions, who didn't get through. So we're just gonna get rid of Sandra. Not sure where she came from, but that's fine. All right, so we've got the other people popping in here. The other thing I need to worry about is factory workers. Let's go take a minute. I still don't have the 100 or 1 million I'm going to need to get everything set up. So I'm gonna burn 2 hours real fast. Okay. So we got cleaning people, boom and boom. They're being brought on board, and security. Boom and boom. That'll probably be enough for what we need. We're going to hire and assign them to gems or else. Confirm. And let's go to gems or else. Check an Everett schedule. All right, bear with me, chat. It sounds like Tomb just got home. So I'm going to quickly assign this just so I don't forget. We're going to pause the game real fast, and this is going to be my quote-unquote long break, so I'm going to take about 5 minutes away from stream, welcome my wife home, throw some food in the oven, and then pretty soon we're going to kind of like find a good stop point here real fast after I get back, and then we'll probably switch over to our sponsored segment, which is going to be for Norse Oath of Blood, and we'll go ahead and play that for a while, which is a turn-based tactics game that is being sponsored by the channel, so I hope you all stick around for that. I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and thank you again for tuning in. I'll be right back. Okay, and I am back. As far as Farmer's Dynasty, I have not played that. So unfortunately I can't really say anything one way or the other. Right, so we still need more money. Um Okay, it looks like we're already a good chunk into today. But we're gonna go ahead and advance the next day real fast. Oh, I needed to set up to factory workers. It's fine. And I also need the driver and everything. But with all that said though, what we're gonna go ahead and do here is I'm gonna take that as a good break point for this. Let's see, you have a question about one of the clips in Project Zomboid you played while you were away? Sure. You just have to let me know which clip. So we're gonna go ahead and save this, and we're gonna start our switch over here to the sponsored segment. So give me a moment to get that all sorted out. It's just gonna take a minute to get all this switched over. So we're gonna have Norse, Oath of Blood, and let's see. Build a Viking. Trying to think of the way I want to go. Let's see. Let's see. XCOM game. Norse Oath of Blood. Let's see. Turn based tactical combat. The Vikings. Let's see how it is. So get all that set up over there. Let's see, you were in the dirt path of the forest at night. If you remember, what prompted you to take that course of action, if I ask? Oh, yeah, we were caught out there, and so the dirt path, we were out there clearing the road to the military base, which is just a long thing. At 16 times pop, I couldn't just like drive in. And so rather than drive in and drive out and drive in and drive out, what would happen is I would go in, we would stop, I'd make like a little tiny little building that would be, like 3x3 walls or whatever, and we'd sleep for the night and kind of repeat that process, just slowly work our way up. And there's a couple of times things happened, like a meta event triggered and like swept zombies over me, so I got forced retreating in the night kind of thing. We had a helicopter that was badly timed at one spot. And so it's probably one of those where I was out there and a meta event triggered and suddenly I was in just a really bad place with it. But because it's playing on 16 times pop, it is just one of those things that the military checkpoint is deceptively one of the highest population places on the entire map, even in the woods around it. So it is just one of those things that you kind of do that thing in 16 times pop where you smash your head against the wall and you just keep grinding until you finally get in. So yeah, anything you see that's on a dirt road fighting a ton of zombies and like getting in trouble, that would be a push to the military base because that place sucks. I consider it the most dangerous part on the map even to today. I mean, I actually can't speak for Build 42 how the population is there today. But yeah, so we got XCOM game, North Base for Blood, Make sure I'm adhering to all the rules around the sponsorship. I've got the commands and all that set up. We've got this, that's all good. We're going to unpin this real quick. So unpin that message. Yeah, it makes sense. You always been your experience to avoid anything in the woods in 65. I was curious. More dangerous prison? Yes. That's actually one of the things that going back to then, me and another content creator, I would always say the military base is more dangerous, and they would always say the prison. And it's funny because I died at the prison and they died at the military base. I still stand by my belief that that I personally believe that the military base is like more dangerous. Because the way I would say it is, the prison is in your face dangerous. It's very brief but dangerous. So it's just a couple of individual days to clear it that it's very high intensity and dangerous. Because it is a very dangerous place. Like, I'm not saying it's not dangerous. But once you get past that first couple of days, it stops being dangerous. Like, you've cleared it. Versus the pushing the secret military base on higher populations,